Hey everybody, welcome back to Browntable, and today we're going to be talking about Deadpool 2, an underrated sequel in my opinion. But you know what isn't underrated? Vikings, War of Clans. Now that bad boy is popular for a reason. Vikings, War of Clans is reminiscent of those exciting RPG and strategy games of the 90s and 2000s that we all loved. But Vikings is available to play right now on your phone in glorious HD. In Vikings War of Clans, you can create your own clans with other players, train troops, upgrade your heroes and your towns, work together, and take over all the kingdoms you can. With 20 million online players and the ability to change playstyles as the game evolves, there's no wonder so many people are in love with this game. So check it out guys, by downloading this game you'll not only be supporting me as an independent creator, but you'll also be doing yourselves a favor because this game is absolutely awesome. Support my channel by downloading Vikings War of Clans for free, link in the description below, and get a special bonus of 200 gold coins and a protective shield. So remember, download the app as fast as you can.
I think Deadpool 2 is a very underrated sequel. Most people complain about the jokes and the fact that it doesn't live up to the first, but if you really think about it, the first movie isn't even that amazing to begin with. Don't get me wrong, Deadpool is a very good movie, but it felt like an amazing one because at the time when it came out, it had broken the genre, the mold that was created by films like Marvel and DC. It was a movie that satirized the competition by exaggerating the comic book film medium to a whole new level. The fact that it was self-aware made it feel like a breath of fresh air, and most of the general audience seemed to enjoy it. Now Deadpool 2 does the same, maybe not as cleanly as the first, but it does create a beautiful story in between all the violence and carnage. The fact that Deadpool 2 is shot down as a poor attempt to recreate the first film's success is ridiculous. I'm sure nobody thought that the sequel was going to be as good as the first, but, mostly due to the cultural impact the first film created. But what Ryan Reynolds set out to do was create a story that was as good as the first. What mattered most was the journey the characters were going to be taking, and honestly, I think Reynolds did a damn good job. Now, Tim Miller quit because he wanted to take the film in a different direction, but to be honest, it turned out better than I hoped, and I was worried over nothing. According to The Wrap, why Tim Miller left Deadpool 2 is supposedly because he wanted to triple the movie's budget, make a very stylish, much more superhero-oriented sequel, and meanwhile, Ryan Reynolds, Rhett Reese, and Paul Wernick wanted to keep Deadpool 2 as a scrappy, raunchy, and inexpensive movie, and I quote. While I do think David Leitch or David Leitch, I have no idea, did a good job with Deadpool 2, I think Tim Miller also did a fantastic job grounding the character in the first. The entire first act of Deadpool, in which he doesn't have his powers, is filmed in ways that I rarely see in superhero films. Nothing's clean, nothing's too bright. The cinematography and lighting go hand in hand to create some really grimy shots, and I really love the aesthetic they achieved. Meanwhile, Deadpool 2 feels slightly less gritty and more superhero-y, but that's not a bad thing though. The sequel's premise is much wackier, but it doesn't hurt the film. I think the best thing that Deadpool 2 did was try not to imitate the first film, but respect it and call back to it, be a musical cue in certain shots, but it never really tries to be a Deadpool 1.5. The first film is a very touching movie, and it's a romantic film, it's a romance, but the sequel is a movie about family. No matter how weird the members of that family are, they all care about each other to a certain degree. And it's these simple ideas that make both movies work, and I personally feel like Deadpool 2 works even better than the first because right from the start, Wade is trying to help Russell, or Fire Fist as he likes to call himself. Wade at first tries to separate himself from Russell to avoid dragging him into his painful life and then wants to be with Russell to help him not go down a dark path. But what I like about this is that it feels even more meaningful and noble than I want to track down this evil scientist because he can fix my face. In fact, Wade Wilson in general is a much more noble character in Deadpool 2. He reacts in ways that seem to be more hero than anti-hero at a certain point. This one scene captures why I enjoy Deadpool as a character in the sequel.
Those guys hurt you?
Who? Both of them?
He feels a lot more three-dimensional in the sequel. People argue that the sequel isn't very good, but I urge them to rewatch, because people complain that Vanessa died to further the plot, when...
Someone call an ambulance, Uncle Ben!
So that's not really a great excuse for me because it happens all the time. Either way, I feel like the plot for Deadpool 2 is a lot more heartbreaking, and actually develops Deadpool as a character way more than the first did. And while in the first movie, Wade's journey is to go back to the way things were, get back with Vanessa and try to fix his face, Deadpool 2 forces Wade to rethink his way of seeing people around him, and the story has him change into a more caring person. The finale of Deadpool 2 proves that Wade truly cares about someone and wants to save someone for a change. Someone that he doesn't know as much as Vanessa, the person he saved in the last movie. Deadpool 2's story of family, to me, is a much more interesting one than the romantic story told in the first film. On the theme of family in this movie, there's a lot of build-up and it leads to an emotional payoff.
My whole life, I've been waiting for someone to come and save me. Nobody's gonna sacrifice anything for me. You sacrificed yourself for me.
Yeah, but it was the best thing I ever did.
Russell's a boy that has had so much taken from him that he's lost all hope that there are good people in the world that care about him just because. Love like that only comes from a family, unconditional love, and that's what Wade finds in himself. And that's also what Cable finds too. He recognizes that some people can be saved. While killing people can lead to the safety of others, saving someone's soul can do this as well. The fact that characters grow and accept each other is easily the reason why I think this movie deserves more credit than it's given. It's Vanessa's words that children help parents see the best parts of themselves that starts Wade's journey, but he himself has to realize what that means, and in doing so he can finally see Vanessa again, in what's honestly one of the most beautiful scenes in a comic book movie ever. I'm not joking. It's really cheesy. It's almost like satirical in a way, along with the rest of the movie, but I think it did a good job, and when he crosses over to the other side and he doesn't have scars anymore, man, it doesn't get better than that. I think Deadpool 2 also manages to make the character and his lore come alive, because if you think about it, Deadpool 1 is not the most comic book accurate thing ever. I mean, Deadpool's there, but that's pretty much it. Deadpool 2 really hits you with that comic book absurdity. We have Cable, we have friggin' time travel. By the way, this one long shot take is beautiful. We have Domino and her powers are absolutely incredible. The world needs more Zazie Beetz. We have more mutants and X-Men. We have the freaking Juggernaut. It honestly reads like a Deadpool story. But me, I'm still waiting for Deadpool to battle the Skrulls thanks to the new Disney-Fox merger. Let's have something good come out of the entire deal, please. Anyways, I really do think Deadpool 2 is a very underrated sequel, and that people are stuck comparing it to the first Deadpool when the first Deadpool was a bit overrated. But seriously, watch both back to back, and I bet you'll feel the same after watching both movies. And that feeling, I'm pretty sure, might be awe or just general happiness, because they're both really good movies, and I think both are equally efficient in telling their stories. Also, Wade acting like a dad is really fun to watch.
What is that? That's not a real rope! You get back here, young man!
Hey, thanks for watching the video. If you really liked it, please subscribe. And if you actually really liked it, you can support my Patreon. Also, please, if you really liked this individual video, please like it, share it, and of course, comment on it. So thanks for coming to the table, and I'll see you all next time.